Guys and dolls. So, as you know, Northern Ireland, there's signs going up, you know. They've been going up for a wee while, you know what I mean? There's a couple of photographs that are going about that are pretty old, you know, but I have done a wee bit of research, and there is quite new ones up as well, because I have been telling people, like, you know, oh, don't get caught up in that, don't be hanging that, that was last year, you know what I mean? But I've made a few phone calls, and yeah, it's not just last year, it is happening again. These are the same cards that are coming out and getting put up in areas, mostly loyalist areas, and we'll probably see more of this coming as we get closer to the 12th of July and the 11th of July more. You're going to see Israeli flags going up, you're going to see Palestinian flags on the bonfires getting burnt, I imagine. So yeah, basically it's tit for tat. Whatever one side push out, the other side go against go opposite to it, you know what I mean? So, you know, like one side supports Rangers, one side supports Celtic, one side supports Palestine, one side supports Israel, you know? So that's the way it is. But I think, you know what I mean, the general consensus on the ground amongst the people is yeah, they're all whistling from the same songbook, so they are. The general feeling on the ground, guys, is people are worried, very, very worried, you know. And I'm going to bring a wee clip at the end of this, and not a couple of wee things I want to bring in, just to emphasise a couple of things. And it's an old one, you know, but it's important, even though it's a 10-year-old case. I think it's very important, you know. And so what I want to do is, I want to just start throwing up the different signs, you know what I mean, as you can see now. So that's the one that's been going about. So it has it's been going about quite a few areas, so there's been quite a few of them made, so there has, and there's still quite a few of them knocking about because they keep taking them down. As soon as they go up, the police take them down. As you can see with this sign, this is a sign that was up for a good wee while, this one, before it was taken down, because it was quite a hardline loyalist area. But as you can see, the police eventually went and took that one down. And then this is another sign here that's popping up in different areas. So it's got, if you notice this, if you look at the name of this one's Newton Ards. You know, it's quite close to my heart, Newton Ards, and some of the guys that are on our lives are from this area. And yeah, and then you've got another one here, and you can see the names changed on that one. So, you know, there is things happening in Northern Ireland, and there is huge dissent on what's going on, and you can see that it's clear, you know what I mean, it's clear to everybody and their uncle, you know, the general consensus of the people on the street, because people are now waking up. People are like, it's different. Northern Ireland's a smaller community, you know, word spreads quick in Northern Ireland, you know, so more or less everybody's awoke to what's going on. And what's going on, I'll bring it at the end of the video, what's going on. And so guys and dolls, I wanted to do the conclusion, so I did, but I got a wee bit emotional, so I just wrapped it up, and I'm going to put the conclusion in now. I'm out with wee Lucky. She's having a wee moaning and groan to herself, normally when she's fighting sleep, and yeah, she's happy, but everything's good. But so the conclusion, guys, is Northern Ireland's just a racist country, and I can tell you without doubt, no, they are not. They aren't a racist country. Basically, you've got to look at it like this, guys. You know, they're a community. They've always been a community, and that's been very strong in their areas because they've been segregated areas. You've got to understand that. So these areas are segregated. You've got families all living next to each other. You know, it's like, yeah, it's one of the last remaining communities probably. You probably have some in England, and there's some left in Scotland, but most families are getting split up now. As you can see in the distance there's a green bin. This is the council, you know. So what happens is, if you don't rinse your milk bottle out properly, they put a label on your bin and embarrass you in front of your neighbours as if you haven't been recycling properly. So what normally happens then, rather than, people just get fed up and they just bring their bins up here and the kids burn them, and that's the last recycling they ever do, and it's all down to the council, you know. And you know, things like this don't happen in these communities because the communities are run by the communities, and the council workers live in the communities, and
You know what I mean? They live and breathe it, and they want to live in a nice area where everybody's happy and, everybody's content, and, it's a nice place, you know what I mean? Because everything's done right, and whether it be through fear or whatever, I don't know, and I don't really care, to be honest with you. Like, you know what I mean? All I know is the job's getting done. People are living peacefully. There's no serious crimes, there's no knife crimes, there's no SAs. So when you're faced with a place like that, with kids running about the streets and bonfires being built and bands and everybody out running about the street in the summer, and then they see what's going on in England, it scares the living daylights out of them. And that's all it is. They're just afraid, And it's not about refugees not being welcome, because of course we welcome refugees. We are that kind of people. Come into our community, enjoy what we've got. We can only take so many, but of course people are welcome. But it's not the right people. And the people in Northern Ireland can see that. They can see that these people are undocumented, unvetted, and some of them are really bad men. They're seeing things like you're going to see coming up here on the end of this video that really sent me overboard a wee bit, and I had to wrap it all up. And lucky enough, Lucky woke up, so straight into Lucky, getting her washed and cleaned and changed and bottle fed. And we're right now, and it's like just the breeze hitting my face right now is cleansing my soul, guys. That's all I can say. It does. And seeing her gurgling and googling her and giving me big smiles, it just takes my mind off things, guys. But that is what it's about in Northern Ireland, guys. They're not racist. It's not about being racist. It's fear. It's because of what the English government have done to England. How quick, how rapid things have changed. How horrifically children have been attacked in their hundreds of thousands. Yet it's all been silenced. And they've got a man in prison who's been trying to highlight it, and they've got him in solitary confinement. And that scares the TBGBs out of people, that we've got a government that not only do not care about their children, but they also don't care about the people who are trying to highlight this thing to warn other parents in this country. And that is the optics of Scotland and Northern Ireland. And this is what I keep telling you guys down in England. Your government is destroying the union. I know some of you don't care about Northern Ireland and some of you don't care about Scotland. But please believe me, when you are sitting on your own, you maybe will care a wee bit then. And you maybe realise what you have lost, because you are going to lose everything. There's no two ways about it. People are afraid. People are getting afraid in Scotland. We're getting more and more guys coming up here now, videoing our kids in parks. And we're getting more and more essays all over the country in Scotland now. We've even been touched by grooming gangs, you know what I mean? So it's coming, it's here, and Northern Ireland can see that, because Northern Ireland are very close to Scotland. You got to understand that, with Celtic and Rangers and the Orange Walks and all that. And there's like hundreds and hundreds of orange bands over here in Scotland. And I always say, I feel sometimes the Scottish are more better than us. I do, both sides, Catholics and Protestants. But yeah, this is the optics of what people see, guys, and this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It's just my opinions of what I see, what's going on, and trying to explain it to you, because it's very easy. A lot of the far left, your Owen Joneses and that, will go, oh, Northern Ireland, they're just all racist, because we're unionists and royalists, you get me? So, just like they say to you when you fly your St. George's flag and your Union Jack, is a racist. We get that as well, because we're unionists. So we have had that. We've had the far right coming into our country and trying to recruit people, but we've pushed them out because we're not racist. We don't see that we're a really happy-go-lucky bunch of guys and girls in Northern Ireland. We really are. We're happy that the peace is here. We're happy that we're not killing each other. We're happy that there's not bombs going off in the city centre anymore. Life is pretty good for us. And we've been segregated all our lives, and we know what it's like. And we are that kind of people. If you come into our community and don't want to change us, you're more than welcome to come. But we're not going to change for the IRA. The IRA aren't going to change for the British, so none of us are going to change for anybody else. Please believe me. So yeah, the British government have created this problem. It's not the people of Northern Ireland. Please remember that. And this is the shame of it all. There's refugees, women and children all around the world, who need our help. We need our refuge, and it's not there for them, guys. It's not there for them. There's no room. We are full up. We filled it up with people, really bad men, and the government have allowed it. They're implicit in destroying England. And Nigel Farage is doing the exact same, as you'll see at the rest of the video. Stay tuned, guys. Like I say, it ends abruptly. I apologise, but you'll understand when you watch the rest of the video.
there's things that we've been doing this for so long. We've so long. And then we've got this character.
Today we've learned that a paedophile, a convicted sex offender who sexually assaulted a 5-year-old and who the parole board have described as particularly concerning, has been granted the right to have their parole hearing in private out of concern that they might get distressed if it was in public. Why are we putting the interest, the feelings of a disgusting sex offender above the victim, their family, and the British public? This is a perversion of justice, and frankly, the parole board should be ashamed of themselves.
And, you know, my message to him, clear and loud, is where have you been in the last 15 years? Where have you been in the last 10 years? Where have you been in the last 5 years? You know? As you'll always see in life, when the shit hits the fan, guys, people start to panic. You know, they start to, you know, it's clear that he should have, because they've been getting away with it because nobody was awake. You know, the governments were doing a really good job at silencing these things. The newspapers, as I'm going to show you as well at the end of this, done a really good job silencing things, you know, and things will come to a head in Northern Ireland before anywhere else. They will not get away with putting refugees or immigrants in our areas. They just won't, you know what I mean? And if the Roman Catholics and the Republican side of things in West Belfast want to open their doors to the Palestinians, they're more than welcome. They want to open their doors to refugees and immigrants into their communities, they're more than welcome. It's going to put us back a wee bit in the peace process because, you know, like I say, there were 6 walls dividing us during the conflict, and there's 12 now. So the amount of peace walls between Protestants and Catholics have doubled since we've called the ceasefire. So I imagine they'll come in the good force if the IRA Republican movement start going down a road where they're going to be welcoming a certain demographic. You know, and that will finish them off. That will finish the support for the Republican movement off in Northern Ireland. And we can see the direction it's gone, the support for Sinn Féin as well. More and more I'm hearing there's so many Republicans reaching out to us Protestants right now because we are the only ones speaking their language. And, you know, at the end of the day, we understand what's going on. And when it comes to your children, we're not going to go, oh no, you've made your bed, lie in it. You know, no, you've been supporting the IRA and Republican movement for all these years. And why all of a sudden you want to change now? You know what I mean? You know, we're not like that. We totally understand the persecution of the Catholic community in some of these areas, you know. Justice is the same in the loyalist areas, you know what I mean? Got to be fair, guys. There is people in some loyalist areas don't want nothing to do with it, you know what I mean? But I do have to say that I don't think it's as hardcore. The loyalist paramilitaries aren't as hard on their community. You know, you've got to remember this. You know, the loyalists didn't kneecap. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but you know, we did not kneecap. We, you know, okay, I know one person, somebody really close to me, you know, got shot in the elbow, you know what I mean? And because he got hit a bit harder, you know what I mean? Where the other guys just got flesh wounds, he got done in the elbows, you know what I mean? And the gun jammed, you know, they put him in the car, took him out, shot him, gun jammed, shoot him in the ear leg, gun jammed, put him in the car, in the boot, drove him to another location, gun in our gun, shot him in the elbow, gun jammed again, you know, after they shot him. So they shot him in both legs and the elbow. And yeah, they still had the bullet in his elbow, you know what I mean? So he's setting the metal detectors off when he was coming up the jail, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a one-off, guys, you know, man. I mean that, like, you know, we weren't like that, but the IRA were different. They had a thing called the 6-pack, you know, the 6-pack, ankles, knees and elbows, you know. They were unforgiving, guys, and this is to their own community. And then they had the thing called the 50-50, you know, so you can't make this up. They shoot you in the back, bottom of your spine, you'd had a 50-50 chance of ever walking again. Personally, I think you had a 50-50 chance of ever living again, you know what I mean? But hey ho. But yeah, this was common. This isn't one-off, guys. This was regular, you know. When the IRA got their own what they call hoods, you know what I mean, people that were stealing cars and being bad boys, that's what they did to them. They shot them in the kneecaps, brutal, absolutely brutal, on another level. So that's history, that's part of history, it'll never go away, there's nothing they can do about it, that's what they did, so along with that, I do believe that eventually people will want to come away from it. It is difficult because it's so ingrained in community. It's in the pubs, it's in everything, you know what I mean? They're involved in everything, they've got their fingers in every pie, so it's very difficult to ungrasp them fingers out of the pie, if you know what I mean. So it will take a wee bit of time, but they are shooting themselves in the foot. There's no two ways about it. They're going with their heart, you see, with the cause, you know what I mean? The Palestinians, they supported us and we got to support them, and Palestine's just like Ireland, and you know what I mean, just madness, just a romanticist, the romanticists of the old Republican days, they're caught up in that kind of carry on, and they're not really paying much attention to what's really going on in the world right now, because nothing fits with their rhetoric, you know what I mean? And that's sad. It's sad that we've still got people that think like that, still have that ideology in a modern country like Northern Ireland, Belfast. But yeah, that's a problem, guys. That is a problem. And like when I talk about civil wars, and when people say, "Oh, we're going in the streets" and all that, and I keep on saying, "Listen, we've been doing this for years. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. Like, we're old school at this. We're expert at this. You know what I mean? Nobody's better at civil unrest than us Ulster boys. You know what I mean? Both Catholics and Protestants." And here's a wee example of just the way they work, and this is just going to arrest somebody, I think, as far as I know, and this is in Londonderry/Derry, and I say Londonderry/Derry because it is the city of Derry and is the county of Londonderry, and that's the facts. There's no, when people say you call it Derry, no, you call it Londonderry. It's the city of Derry and it's the county Londonderry. Okay, so that's what I just say, Derry and Londonderry, to keep everybody happy. But watch this. So as you can see, no messing about. It's like just normal procedure for them, you know what I mean? And like even today, we're still throwing bricks at bloody things and armoured vehicles. Like what are you gonna do? Like I've always been blown away at how we've just thrown bricks at these things. I've been inside one of them things. It is absolutely mental when you go through a rat and you hear all the bricks hit at the same time. It blows you away. Like I've been in a few of them all the way through my life. I think the first time I was in one of them, I was that young, I didn't know my date of birth. I was that young, and they were banging the rifles on the metal next to my head when I'm sitting in the back of Land Rover, and all I did was give them the fingers. And they threw because they don't normally stop, because we throw bricks and petrol bombs at them, you know what I mean, and they just sit in there and take it. And even when they don't ever get out, when I was young, they never got out. They just drove about our areas dead fast, you know what I mean. And I was on my own on my bike, and they went by and they know me because I'm always at the rats, and so there's that wee fucking, and I'm like, I've got these fucking brakes on, man. They've all jumped out. I'm like, oh my god, they just wanted to scare the life out of me, and they really did. It really worked. It didn't work, but they did scare the life out of me. Really scared the life out of me. And so that was my first experience in the back of a Land Rover, and there was many more after that. But it's like, the police are really good at this carry on, you know what I mean? They really are. And the stuff that they've got now, they haven't used. I've seen it in Europe, and it's really, really terrifying, this stuff. It really is hardcore, like sound stuff that fucking nearly blows your eardrums off, and just sound waves and stuff, and horrible stuff that if you're in a certain area and this thing hits you, you're moving away from it. Your brain can't handle it. So yeah, there's some serious technology out there for civil unrest, and people just don't understand that. You know what I mean? And it's just like I say, it's like a romanticist in their head. They just imagine coming out on the streets and overpowering the police. And I don't know what these think you're doing. I imagine you think you're going to overpower the police, take all their shields and bantons and their vehicles off them, go to the police station, take over the police station, and declare that you're going to run your own area. I imagine that's what people think, you know, and that could not be further away from reality, guys. You really couldn't. Like, that's like impossible, you know, impossible. You know, most of our young ones have got mental health problems to start with, and are on all sorts of medication. You know what I mean? When you really think about how many people you really get out, you know, a lot of people would be going, "Oh, I need to get my prescription no more. Don't block the roads." You know, so there's a lot of problems come from stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to do a big. This isn't like 13 minutes. It's going to be a bit more once I add everything into it. But you know, I want to wrap with this, guys. Keep it pretty short today. This is a group of men that were involved in the rape of children 10 years ago, and here you can see the BBC report. Now I want you to pause your TV and have a wee read at that. So I do, as I put stuff up. So you just go along, pause it, read it, play, wait for the next one, pause it, read it, you know. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw them up for you to read. So I am. These two clips. Can you see that? So basically, these men were basically saying, it's in our culture, this is what we do, you know. What's the problem? You know, this is what we do in our own country. They're just women to us, even though they're 12 and 13. That's basically what they're saying. And this is the thing that's really, really important. Really important, you know, because these are the men that Nigel Farage isn't going to deport. You got to understand that these guys will be out of prison. Okay, these guys will be living in flats provided by the government and getting social benefits. I can guarantee you this isn't fake news, this isn't misinformation, these are facts. 10 years ago, these men are all out. Every single one of them are back out on the streets. Let that sink in. How many men do you think like that have committed crimes like that in our country and are back out on the street? And this is what Reform don't understand, the Reform voters that have been blindsided by this man. Nigel Farage has got no intentions of deporting any of them men that you've just seen, or any man like it. Nigel Farage might deport somebody once he gets elected. From that moment, anybody that comes in and is illegally, I don't know. I don't even think he'll do that. In my hearts of hearts, I really don't, because I think he's going to pass it on to somebody else who's going to have totally different ideas and has. I never said that, it was Nigel said that. So there's so many ways he can get out of it, you know. And as far as removing people that's committed heinous crimes like that, he's never going to do that neither. And like, my message to anybody that can ever get close to Farage is ask him. If you ever get him on a podcast, if you ever get a chance to ask him any questions, ask him. Is he going to deport them men that done that to our children? In one of them cases, it was not only a 12-year-old but her sister. They were moving them about the city. They were selling them on. Once they'd finished with them, they sold them on to another gang. These are our children. And if you noticed as well, they came from children's homes. Fucking breaks your heart, doesn't it? Breaks your heart. How can any man in this country that has a position of power not get rid of them men out of our country, or any men like that are proclaiming that this is what they do, this is our culture? And every news outcaster, every single one of them, hid that information from us all. It's heartbreaking. It's really, really heartbreaking. All my love. God bless.